Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Yoruus speaking and welcome to the introduction spoiler video for multiplayer game number 49. In this short video I will introduce the game, settings and player, and later on I will talk about the game itself. So if you do not want to know how the game ended, just stop watching after the initial introduction and go to the second position of the playlist where the actual game starts. This time is going to be a 6-player, no quitters, free-for-all game. No quitters is a Steam group that gathers people who just want to play Civ without people quitting on them mid-game. You can find the link in the About section of my channel, or you can just talk to me and just send me a whisper on Steam. Try not to leave a comment because I do not check comments on my channel that regularly, and basically it's hard later on to actually catch people who leave comment because you need to add the friends, then leave a message and so on and so forth. So just go directly to me or just check the profile, join the chat and ask one of the officers to invite you to the group. Now together in this game we've got Primeval. Primeval do learn to plays, gameplays with commentary as well. You can find the link to his channel on my main page in the future channels, or the link will be below in the description below this video and below every single part to the playlist of his perspective of this game. Together in this game as well we've got NQ Lazy, NQ Northern Knight, NQ Shumi 16 and Plan B. So as usual, pretty strong players, and it looks like a pretty interesting game. This game is still before the fall patch, so you can actually see what other players have. So we've got Primeval playing as Korea, excellent science Civ. NQ Lazy playing as Brazil, mediocre Civ, but great for cultural victory those days. NQ Northern 9 rolled Babylon, another crazy science Civ. NQ Shumi 16 playing as Russia, very good production Civ. Plan B playing as Germany, and I got Shoshone. And my starting location, well, it didn't look that well. I had a couple of choices. I could just stay on spot on the hill, try for a Petra city, or just go on the coast and hope for some more coastal cities and giving that trade routes. But this you will know in the summary of the game that will start in a second. So another spoiler alert: if you do not want to know how the game went, please stop watching right now and go to the second position of the playlist where the actual game starts. So this is how my land looked like. I decided to move my capital onto the desert, which was, in my opinion, pretty good choice. Even if I wanted to get a Petra in my capital, I would have almost all the desert hills available to me, and still I could plant a city to the north, which I probably have problems if I actually moved my capital. And I decided to go for Liberty. Since this is Shoshone, Shoshone gets crazy amounts of lands and I really want to make Liberty work, so I decided to go for a Liberty opening, getting as much cities as fast as possible. After some initial scouting, it turned out Primeval with the Korea is, well, he is on the east side of me, a little bit like southern east. But it seems like he has that part of the map absolutely for himself, which I didn't like. Then we've got Germany on the west and NQ Shumi on the southern west side of me. So pretty strong civs nearby. I wasn't able to scout anyone else since NQ Shumi did block me. But my closest neighbors were more than enough for me. Primeval, great player, great Civ, and NQ Shumi, great player, great Civ. So it was starting to look very, very fun indeed. So my initial Liberty strategy, as usually, turned out bad. I should probably decide if I want to go Liberty or Tradition after some initial scouting, because it turned out I just don't have enough luxuries to support Liberty opener. I only got four unique luxuries, like marble, cotton, sugar, and gems, and I already made six settlers, and that was just too much. I was beat to the spot in the south by Primeval, which I didn't actually like, and I kind of guessed that I think me and Primeval will go on a collision course. So I made two more settlers. I mean, I had two extra settlers. One I actually deleted because I didn't want to go beside this river close to Germany, so I would not have problems with Germany. I would deal only with one enemy at the time, but I did plant the settler in all that forest just to get that extra city and be able to get some coastal trade routes in the north cities as well. But basically there was at least a bit of waste of hammers, at least for one settler, and Liberty again with 4 cities, even with 5 cities. You would prefer to have tradition ASAP to get that extra happiness from monarchy and some extra food instead of going Liberty. So I kinda messed up. Well, maybe I didn't mess up yet, but it would seem at this point of the game that I did slow myself again in another game. So the probable outcome for me would be just to try and end this game with some sort of a domination victory before people will get out of hand. So the situation looked not that great. I was trying to grow my cities. I started to work on my national college ASAP. Russia, obviously, and Shoshone, tradition start, 4 cities, tradition, getting crazy population, crazy science, and all the good stuff. And I was actually trying to do some diplomacy, which means I hoped for well, basically I was trying to convince Enki Lazy and Enki Nottenite and even Germany to actually try and slow down Enki Shumi or take him down, while I would deal with Primeval. That sounded like a very reasonable option. First of all, Enki Shumi was basically in the middle and he was already getting ahead with his tradition start, getting crazy population, crazy gold, well, crazy everything as usual. And Primeval had his nice 4 cities, and he would be a very great science guy later in the game, so he would be basically very hard to stop if he wouldn't be attacked early on. So I was trying to convince people to attack Enki Shumi while I would deal with Primeval before he would be basically unstoppable. Initially I was kinda planning on waiting for frigates, but I changed my mind. I decided to use my galleys and archers and basically go for machinery first to get rid of Ragusa and start the attack on Primeval before the frigates. Well, basically just because I don't have the tech. I do have the galleys. I made a couple of galleys and I thought like, okay, I think I can do it with galleys only, but I wanted a city close nearby so I can actually have some healing space. And Melbourne was ally of Primeval, so I would have to take Melbourne out. So I needed to take Ragusa and Melbourne first to actually be able to go straight for Primeval's capital. So I did start attacking Primeval's capital with my galleys. After I thought like, he's got 22 combat strength, he don't have crossbows yet, so basically he neglected all the defense at the moment. So perhaps I do have the window of opportunity before frigates to actually be able to take his capital without the help of frigates. Well, definitely 22 combat strength, and I believe Russia did found him a castle later on, so this would take a while, but well, I was ready to sacrifice some ships just to get him just to get him down. So I did make it. I'm very sorry, Primeval, and well, I'm very sorry for the viewers that really hope to have a full game with me and Primeval in this game. But well, we was just bothering each other, and it would be very, very unwise to leave two very strong opponents on opposite sides of me. I really had to get rid of one, and since Shumi was hard to reach, I decided to go for Primeval. Probably that was not such a wise choice in the long run, but at that moment that sounds reasonable. So I did take his capital. He retook it a couple of times, then I took it finally, and he said GG. So thank you very much for the game, Primeval. Again, I'm very sorry I had to kill you so early. And I got navigation. I was really hoping to attack Russia with frigates. So I was finishing off Primeval cities and even getting the southern city-state to have every single city on this side of the map. Sadly, it would seem that Novgorod is basically unreachable by sea. I would have to outproduce Shumi tremendously, so I kinda knew at the moment I am not able to do any damage to him right now to take Novgorod, but I was hoping that later on I could just produce from all the cities I took from Primeval and those city-states, so I would have the production advantage to actually be able to take Novgorod down and slow Shumi just a little bit, so maybe on the other side other players will be able to basically do the same. So this is where things started to look bad. Before I was able to actually make those cities useful, Shumi got artillery, he got Gatling guns, so basically he fortified his position tremendously. So this was not going to happen. Taking Novgorod was basically not possible without outproducing him tremendously with ships, which I was not ready to do yet. Especially with all those artillery, and it would seem everyone else had the same problems, so well, basically things started to fall apart from this moment. All those cities I took from Primeval and all those city-states actually started to draw me back. I wasn't able even to annex every single city, so I was suffering the science penalty. While I couldn't overcome that, I had happiness problems. So basically I was starting to fall tremendously behind in science to Shumi. Well, basically the things started to look very bad at this point. I decided to kind of hope that other players on the other side will try to slow Shumi down, and in the meantime I would try to catch up economy-wise and get some nice buildings, so I'll actually have the production to do something while I was searching for some crucial techs to actually be able to do something. I really needed at least war infantry, probably artillery, and a lot of techs actually, but my science rate was, well, it was basically so slow compared to Russia's science at this point of the game. So as I said, things absolutely did not look cool. Shumi decided to attack Germany. He had foreign legions from Freedom. He got infantry. He got research labs. So he was basically 9% ahead of me in tech. The only good thing that I did have is production, but that window of opportunity basically passed. Now I was basically his next target. I was only desperately trying to at least put up a fight. So I was building Oxford University to get to at least grade war infantry and hope to, well, at least defend until I get some other techs. And I was kind of hoping to have enough production to overcome his technological advantage at this point. And this is how it ended. I was not able to overcome that military advantage, the technological advantage. Infantry and rocket artillery plus bombers versus Great War infantry. This just couldn't work. I did have the production advantage, but the technological advantage of Enkyshumi did eat me up this game, and the other players couldn't do much to slow Enkyshumi down, so we decided to GG basically to Enkyshumi. Good game, Enkyshumi. Now, what I did wrong? Well, my initial thinking, first of all, going Liberty, well, that kind of backfired on me because I didn't have enough land to settle, so that was pretty problematic. And the huge thing that I messed up was actually too fast on conquering cities. I should have done that much slower, because at the rate I did it, I was not able to annex those cities, build up science, culture buildings to actually overcome that 5% hit to science and 10% hit to culture. I basically did this too fast. The general idea, in my opinion, was correct, because I need to take Primeval down, because in this stage of the game, I will probably be having Enkyshumi's army on the west side and Primeval's army on the east side. So I think that the strategical decision was correct to go for Primeval, but I totally messed up consolidating the cities I conquered, getting them up to speed. So I definitely learned a lot from this game. Next time I will know how to look at this. So one more time, GG to everyone. Thank you for the game, everyone. Thank you for watching, and I invite you to watch the actual game that starts on the second position of the playlist. So best wishes, Yoruus out.